What has happened in Iraq over the last 72 hours is not something you want to sleep on. And I mean that, because when you start connecting the dots, you start to recognize when something is genuinely shifting. Let's start with the big picture. The economic diversification that Iraq has built over the last 3 years under al-Sudani has been nothing short of remarkable. And here's the thing, they did not do this overnight. You cannot do something like this overnight. There had to be pieces put in place first. We're talking about pipelines, rerouted trade systems, the TRI system, the Seyhan pipeline rehabilitation, the testing phases, all of it. These things have been in development for a long time. And yes, we did go through about 2.5 years where Iraq was not pushing oil through that Seyhan pipeline, and there were a number of reasons for that. But what matters right now is what you are seeing today. The hydrocarbon law is back in the news. And this is a big deal because this is a national issue. This affects every single Iraqi. That is the weight of it. And even before the new Prime Minister al-Zaidi stepped in, people were already openly talking about it again. That alone tells you something. And then you start seeing everything else come together at the same time. The Central Bank of Iraq moving on digitization. The judiciary announcing a digital transformation program. Financial inclusion being pushed from the top down. And I want to be very clear about something here. These things are not coincidences. They are not. I truly hope you guys see that, because if you are looking at credible data and still calling this a coincidence, I honestly do not know what information you are working with. Now I know there has been a lot of noise lately about Governor-elect being removed or demoted from the central bank. And look, I am just going to say it plainly. To me, that story is utter nonsense. Because here is who has a seat at this table. The IMF, the Bank of International Settlements, the United States Treasury, and the U.S. Treasury, let's be honest, probably carries the biggest stick in this entire game. And that is backed by very real and very supported reasons, including Iraq's Strategic Framework Agreement. Those agreements do not just disappear. They are still very much in play. So yes, Iraq is going to be welcomed into the new financial system. It is going to be a digital system, and it is going to matter. Because Iraq is not some hollow economy. We are talking about a country sitting on roughly $16 trillion worth of natural resources. 16 trillion. And they now have the infrastructure, the partnerships, and the political environment to actually tap into that value. And speaking of political environment, look at the international reaction to this new prime minister. Countries from all over the world are openly broadcasting their support. Why? Because this is a cleaner government. A more focused government. I have said before that CBI independence would work better inside a cleaner government structure. Well, guess what? We have that now. And the convergences over just the last week have been truly remarkable. Over the past 72 hours specifically, we have seen an extraordinary alignment of political, financial, digital, and economic signals all coming together at the same moment. The new government under al-Zaidi is not just seated. It is already executing. It is hitting the ground running with a level of focus that is genuinely exciting to watch. Banking modernization, digitization, financial inclusion, economic diversification, political cleanup. All of it moving forward simultaneously. I have been watching this build for 17 years. I have seen the quiet work behind the scenes. And right now, the pieces of this puzzle are coming together in a way that feels real, purposeful, and well-timed. Think about this. Just today, you had 2 back-to-back articles. The CBI talking about digitization and the judiciary talking about the digital economy. What has the World Bank been saying? What has the IMF been pushing? What has the BIS been advocating for? Financial inclusion. Every single one of those institutions has had this as part of the plan. And now you are watching it execute in real time. Let's talk about the political side for a moment because this matters more than people give it credit for. The new cabinet under Prime Minister Ali al-Zaidi is fully seated and already active. Al-Zaidi personally chaired the first meeting of the Financial Stability Council just hours after ordering its creation. Hours. He is already engaging regionally, and notably, Iraq is positioning itself as a mediator in the Iran and U.S. negotiations. That is not a small thing. Iraq has played this mediator role for a long time, and it is a constructive signal for stability. And then you have Muqtada al-Sadr coming out today offering support. This is a man who can put millions of people into the streets within days. The fact that he is offering support instead signals something important. It reduces the heavy factional pressure, the kind that comes from the PMF side of things, and it sends a very clear message to the economic and monetary teams that they have the political cover they need to keep moving forward. That umbrella of stability is now in place. And what that means is that this execution phase I have been talking about can now accelerate. And honestly, it already is. Banking and financial reforms are now in what officials are calling the final stage coordination. When they use words like final stage, pay attention. That language means something. The CBI is pushing hard. International audit firms are in the final evaluation stage for major banks including Rafidane and Rashid Bank. We have talked about this before. This is one of the last boxes that needs to be checked in this process. And Ernst & Young, Oliver Wyman, these are not small names. They may not be in today's headlines, but they are working quietly in the background. That quiet hush I have talked about before, they are in it. At the same time, Governor Alak held an expanded meeting with all licensed electronic payment companies to push service upgrades, strengthen compliance, and scale financial inclusion. When they call an expanded meeting, they mean everyone needs to hear this. This is not talk. This is execution. The banking cleanup and the digital payments infrastructure are aligning perfectly with the direction of the new government. These are the critical building blocks for a stronger and more credible Iraqi dinar. And then there is the full government push on digitization and financial inclusion. The new Minister of Justice has directed a comprehensive digital transformation across the ministry, the courts, land registration services, and more. This comes right after the CBI payments meeting and the government's broader push toward e-governance. You see how it all ties together? This is coordinated pressure from the top down to shift Iraq into a real digital economy. Reducing cash dependence, improving transparency, expanding inclusion. All happening at once. And this is the infrastructure that makes everything else, the banking reforms, the trade efficiency, the currency readiness, far more powerful. On the economic diversification and infrastructure front, real results are showing up on the ground. Iraqi ports, including the port of Basra and others, are reporting strong and growing daily arrivals of ships and tankers. Even during current regional tensions, multiple container ships, multiple tankers, all coming in. And interestingly, the media has been fairly quiet about it. But what it tells you is resilience. The new government has issued directives to accelerate the Development Road Project, to transform the Ministry of Oil into a value-added powerhouse, and to push global trade integration. Non-oil revenue streams, transit fees, logistics, all of these things are gaining real traction. This is the diversification we tracked for years, and now it is delivering visible results. And on the international alignment front, the Iraq chapter of the Chamber of Commerce is actively promoting investment and partnerships. Combined with the banking audits, the digital push, and the early diplomatic work of the new Prime Minister, external interest in Iraq is growing, and it is growing on a global scale. The gatekeepers can see that this government is focused on execution rather than endless political drama. And honestly, I think we are all relieved about that. Now let's zoom out and look at what all of this means from the big lens. Iraq is currently in one of its strongest positions in many, many years. Their reserves, while slightly drawn down over the last couple of months, have still maintained roughly 12 months of import coverage. That is 3 to 4 times what the IMF actually requires. Think about that. And now with the political side delivering a functioning government, and with the new cabinet prioritizing financial stability, digitization, and economic coordination, the platform for a managed currency rate adjustment is becoming significantly more mature. I always come back to the phrase, ready when prudent, because this is not just about Iraq in isolation. It is bigger than that. But it is very much about Iraq. And when it does happen, do not expect a press release. Do not expect advance notice from the CBI or the gatekeepers. It will likely just happen, just like when they revalued their currency back in 2023. It happened immediately. And that is exactly how it should work. You cannot have people front-running the market. You cannot have speculation building ahead of time. So they simply do not telegraph it. And if you look at the models they have used historically, yes, some of them are dated, but they still use components of those models because those components work. Markets are emotional. People are emotional. That never changes. So here are my closing thoughts that the last 72 hours have been genuinely powerful to watch. We have moved from government formation into active execution across banking, digital payments, justice digitization, infrastructure, and financial coordination, all in a remarkably short window. There are no coincidences in this timing. The convergences are tightening. This new government is showing serious, engaged energy, and it is great to see. This is an uplifting moment. The reform engine has left the station, and it is picking up real speed. The locomotive of Iraq's economy is beginning to move in a way that could produce results that surprise a lot of people. Stay tuned, stay patient, and as always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I will see you next time right here on Dinar Intel Hub.